Hello and welcome to Function Better. In this episode, Jonce and Safiya discuss the idea of New Year's resolutions. Do we make them? And if we do we keep them? Are New Year's resolutions even a good idea? How else might we establish good habits and achieve positive changes in our lives?
So Safiya, I put in a search on Google the other day, and it's just a random search, and I just put in New Year's resolution.
Yes.
It threw up something, and it said, I'm just going to read it because I've got it written down, and it says, studies show that about 60% of us make New Year's resolutions each year. Sadly, though, only about 8% of us achieve them. Now, as far as research goes, that is just a Google PubMed, right? Okay, I haven't dug into it to see how many people that they actually was in the research. It could have only been 10 person, of which 6 of them say, yeah, I make resolutions and whatever, right? Okay, but I just want to ask you, based on that alone, are you one of those 6, or what is your take on New Year's resolutions? Have you got any goals? Tell me something.
Quite interesting. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Over the years, I must have had at some point set up a New Year's resolution, but you hear me say this, obviously that means that I'm not really the kind of person to set a New Year's resolution. Otherwise, I would have told you, yes, every year. Yeah. I've got, I don't know, I have my reservations about New Year's resolution is probably because, resolutions in general with the time frame, probably because I am, first of all, my personality is just, I'm a very kind of spur of the moment person. I like to just, decide something and I'll do it. And if it's right, I don't have to think about it. I just do it. I'm in it to win it. So planning, I'm not a great planner. I try, but I just love that's it. I've read something, it resonates with me. I love it. I want to do it. I'm just going for it. Don't really think about anything in details. So I think I probably would be one of those 94% who just would not eventually really stick at it.
First of all, you don't make them. You're saying you do make them, or you don't make them?
No, I don't really. I don't really
make them. Right?
No.
Just like this year, I mean, with people that around and that, I actually didn't make any, and I was quite conscious of the fact that New Year's is coming up, and should I make New Year's resolutions? But there is things that I want to do, and there is always stuff that I want to do, and I come in and out of stuff, and like recently I changed my training routine a little bit, and I stopped doing something because I started doing this program that I'm not going to give names and stuff, and I wanted to stop doing some of the other stuff I was doing just to see how that would go, right? And then I wanted to get back into my training, and I'm quite conscious that New Year's is coming up. So I made sure that I started doing my training way before the New Year's, so that when New Year's came, I'm already in the training.
Wow. So you're one of those who does resolutions about resolutions. That is quite amazing.
Well, you know what? I'm really into my planning, right? I believe that you have to have a plan. Yeah. I have the bullet journal, which I must admit I'm not always writing in it. So I've got my bullet journal and stuff like that. I don't know if you know about bullet journaling.
Yeah, I do. Okay. But not for me. It's my daughter.
Right. Okay.
I'm really not into it. No.
Well, I love bullet journal, and obviously, in what I do, I write programs for people as well, program design, and I will charge people even for the time of writing a program, and I think that's all great and stuff like that. But really, I think what really happens is that some people come in, right, and they come to me and they're all excited and they want something, for example, it might, most of the time it's because I deal more in rehab style. All right. People come and they have issues and they want to change things, right? Okay. They might be in pain or whatever. Right. Okay. So they need to make changes, and I'm more into, what I do, even though I'm a sports therapist and I can do hands-on, my main thing is I say I'll do hands off. So my thing is exercise based, right? Okay. So if you come to see me, right? Okay, I'm not so interested if you come to me, hello, let's say you call me doc. I'm not a doctor, but you come to me and you say, right, whereabouts you want me to lie on the couch? Do you know? I said, no, I want you on the training mat, and we're going to do some training, right? Okay. So we've talked in the past about doing assessments and all this kind of stuff, and then I would write you a program for you to go ahead and do, and you're all excited, and we go through the program and stuff, and then you might go home. I'm not saying this is forever. I'm just talking in general, and this is what happens, right? Okay. But then when it comes to doing the program, you might, and I talk to you, and you might say, well, certain things happened, and I wasn't able to quite do it like this, and this has happened and stuff like that. Okay. Now you do get this, right? Okay. And part and parcel, I think, of when it comes to helping people do stuff is actually getting them to start implementing things into their life. So I think really it's all about behaviors. Behaviors is the thing, right? Okay, you got to change your behaviors, right? Okay. So when someone comes and they got have an issue, and it doesn't matter whether you want to do rehab or you want to get or you want to build big muscles, or you want to increase your cardiovascular, you want to lose body fat or whatever. There is obviously things that you're not doing in your life that is actually caused that. And if we want to change that, if you want to get better, we really have to look at making changes in your life. So to me, it's all about behavior. Ultimately,
Yeah.
I write you a program, but I'm really talking to you about making behavior change. Okay. So from that point of view, if you start looking at it like that, yes, you have to give a program, but you have to look, how are we going to get you to change behaviors? Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you change your behavior then? I mean,
well, yeah, it's the thing is, okay, there's for me, I work more kind of on the basis of intentions. I intend to. I know there's a kind of to talk about resolution that's a bit stronger because there's more of a commitment. Whereas an intention is more a thought. So yes, I do have my task list or my reminders. I do tend to snooze them a lot or dismiss them. And I have very good intentions to do things on a regular basis. Some things stick to my routine and others don't. But one thing that I was thinking about the New Year's resolution particularly, I think it's a double-edged sword. And I think it's so ingrained in people's mind that you have to do it in January, whatever. Then they let February, March, and then we reach July. It's not the season for resolutions, therefore they don't make any decisions. Whereas if it's not attached to a particular season, a particular event or calendar date, then you are free and open for resolutions pretty much anytime. You, like the way I am, when I come across something that makes sense and I could benefit from, and then they really stick because it's it's like the idea of like self-motivation rather than something that's just imposed on you. And this is the trick as a trainer, is to find what would really stick to your participants or your clients' mind, say for them to understand how important it is to do, and therefore they'll take it and they'll basically take on the responsibility of doing it. I think one thing that I read that was quite interesting, just to kind of go a little bit deeper into the idea of why a New Year's resolution, and I thought it was quite interesting. I hope I'll render it properly, but anybody who wants to look into it further, we'll put the details down on the description. The book I was reading recently is called Why We Eat, into bracket, Too Much, by Dr. something. Well, we'll get the details. He's a guy who's an expert in gastro, bypass, and all of these surgeries. And he's written, I found a really, really interesting book into why people eat too much exactly and become obese, and the gene idea and stuff. But anyway, at some point he has a little kind of section where he talks about the New Year's resolution, and he says actually it's a biological reflex after the excesses of Christmas and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, whatever, all this food and sweets and everything.
Mhm.
Body, there's a natural process of the body, which is to use the excess food without even us knowing, as the metabolism and the automatic metabolism system. And so he says that basically this is something that's been ingrained into us for like centuries of excesses in Christmas, New Year's Eve, and therefore in January the body just kickstarts into making us want to lose that excess weight or excess sugar, whatever we have built up over the last few weeks. This is where it came from, this idea of New Year's resolution. And it says, obviously, just enjoy, jump on the wave and ride the wave of your body pushing you and motivating you to do this. Then you have to consciously carry it through, because it doesn't last.
So here's something I was thinking when you mentioned about Christmas and eating. Okay, now I have to admit I stuffed myself at Christmas with all sorts, right? Okay, and part of the thinking was that I'm going to eat all this food, right? Okay, I remember I got this cake from, I'm not afraid to say that, it's from Waitrose, and it's like a £2.20 fruit cake, and I love my cake, right? Okay, and I had it for about 2 months in one of the containers, and I'd have bought one before that, thinking, right, I'm gonna save it. So in the end, I bought this one for, right, I'm not gonna eat it till Christmas, right? Okay, but the thinking is that if I eat all this food now, and then come the new year, and then I'll just get over Christmas, and then I'll start doing it in the new year. So yes, without actually making a New Year's resolution, there is one there that I can eat all this food. And then I can just train in the new year, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there is, I think, from what a metabolic point of view, from what I understand, and it's explained more in this book as well, that our body's kind of okay with this sort of excesses. If these excesses don't become, everyday excesses, but we have peaks in our, and obviously it goes with the calendar. I mean, you mentioned Christmas, but obviously we have like so many celebrations, don't we? Because both the Muslim celebrations of the two Eids, where we do tend to also overeat and lots of sweets and stuff, and then added to that is the Christmas dinners. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, everybody's on holidays, families to get together, generally speaking. So it's.
I mean, I must admit though, when it comes to the Eid, and obviously, I'm not born and bred Muslim, okay, all right, but so Christmas is something that's always been in my blood way before Eid was, sort of thing. So when Eid comes along, I will eat, for example, but Christmas has a bigger impact on my nutrition than Eid does. Do you with me?
Do you think something that should be explored, actually, could it be to do with the fact that it's dark and cold, and our body just wants this warming food? We talk about, this is just like such warming food, because we need that extra calorie to keep us warm. And especially, I mean, this year it was colder.
Well,
it might be linked.
Well, I think another thing it could be though, like for Christmas, everyone's at it, isn't they? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just the Muslim population. Like, everyone's at it, right? Okay. And no matter what religion you're
and the shops will make sure you don't forget that.
Everyone, shops are there. Like, you've got all the bargains in Tesco's, you know what I mean?
And the special cakes.
Yeah, the scholarship goes down to like from £5 or £6 to £4. Do you know what I mean?
And the cakes, the special cakes, the Christmas cakes, and the Lebkuchen, and all of the things, the panettone and things that from all over the world that you wouldn't normally have in the rest of the year.
Yeah. I mean, I got a panettone because one of my boys, he's got Italian in his blood, so I get a panettone.
We also do with the Italian blood.
Is it panettone?
Panettone, yeah.
Yeah. So you get that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But so I think the Christmas thing, naturally you get this what do you call it? it's just a natural thing that you will eat
Cool.
more, and then you're going to train.
So do you? So basically, given all that, and given the fact that you're very you like to plan ahead and everything. So I said a little bit, I teased you a bit. You're kind of you have resolutions about resolutions. So basically, you always kind of think about or prepare for that Christmas period, thinking, come beginning of January, is that kind of every year you have your resolutions, and what sort of things then do you end up doing?
I don't know. It's just like it's in my. I don't know. This year I think about it, and I'll probably forget it now for the rest of the year, and then next year I'll probably be in the same. So I don't really know. What I'm saying is, maybe at one time I used to set resolutions, but I don't really do. I don't do them anymore. I'm certainly not. I'm not really bothered. You know what I mean? It's like I have.
I think.
I have a book by for example, I think it's Dan John, and I can't remember the other guy, Josh, someone I think, and it says like, you know, diet starts on a Monday. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we all begin. You know what I mean? It's always I'm gonna start a diet on a Monday. It's never a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday. It's always on a Monday, isn't it? If you know whatever you're gonna give up, you know you're gonna start training. Right? I'm gonna start on Monday. You know what I mean? So if it comes into your head on a Tuesday, right, that do you know what? I really need to lose some weight, or I need to build my stamina. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get started on Monday. So you've got a whole 6 days or whatever to get prepared for it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then if something happens on that, you know, because life gets in the way, you can't get started on the Monday. What do you do then? You know, you
have to wait for the Monday after.
It's like.
And I think this is why after a while just these resolutions don't work, because we're just so set with it has to be that date, it has to be this. But if you would break free from this and just say, when I find the thing that works for me, or even it doesn't matter what it is, as long as I start little, I've started. And I think this is an important.
You hit the nail on the head, as they say, right? So this is where we come back to what I believe, like, what we really should be looking at, okay? First of all, you need to have an awareness. Something happens, or you get that kind of like, I don't know what the word is, but, you know, that triggers you into action.
Yeah.
Okay. So say, you know what, something's not right here, or I've got pain, or I want to lose weight, I want to get fit, or whatever it might be. So whatever. Okay. But I believe more when you have to look at your system and have a system approach as opposed to a goal approach. Okay. So a goal is like a target, and sometimes you could miss things if you just focus on just one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So thinking about, but if you look on your behavior, I've got to change things. So just look on your behavior and look on one little thing that you might change. Okay. And I think we should use that all the time. So if I want to improve my I want to get better because I got pain, and I want to, you know, you want to do exercises, you know, I'd rather, like, I try not to give people too much, by the way, you know, I give my program, because I talk about giving people a program. I remember when I was working in the gyms and stuff, you give people programs, but nowadays when I'm doing my stuff, I still have a program. But that program, I might have a program where there is in my head, and the way I'm thinking, there's a lot of things I want you to do, but I will only give you in stages. Okay. So I'll say, right, I want you to do 1, 2, 3 now. Just go and start doing 1, 2, 3. Now, if you can do 1, 2, 3 in 1, 2, 3 days, right? Okay. Then on the 4th day, I can give you something else. Do you see what I mean? So the way I want to do stuff, the way I do stuff with my clients is like, I don't give you programs. Here's a program, and I want you to go off, and I'll speak to you in 3 weeks and 4 weeks, because I've done that in the past, but that generally doesn't work as well. Well, it depends on the people as well, by the way. Okay, but I'd rather have communication with you on a regular basis, right? Okay, daily basis. I want you to start doing, you know, 1, 2, 3, and what I will do really is I will speak to my clients, and it all depends on who they are. Right, okay. If I get a professional, and I haven't worked with a professional footballer, but if you're a professional footballer and you come to me, you're set up to train every single day. So if you're a professional athlete, I say professional footballer because, you know, I'm into my football. I like my football. If you're a professional athlete, then it's what you do. It's in your DNA. Do you with me, right? Okay. And I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day who is a gym goer, does his bodybuilding, and he was even talking about he was going to compete. Not this year, last year he was going to compete, and he has a trainer that does his programs for him and does his nutrition. So he was going to compete, but because of COVID, he wasn't able to do that sort of thing. Okay. But so he is a trainer. So if he has a problem and he has some injury and I give him a program, I'm pretty certain that he will do that program because it's in his DNA. Right? But if you're someone who doesn't do any training, I can't give you the same program that I would give to my friend because it's not in your DNA. I need to start making different changes.
It's not so much as in it's not in your DNA, is that your friend has already established the routine, the habits, the good habits of training. Therefore, adding an extra thing for him just slots in super easily. You don't have to think about it. Just enough time to get to grips to how it works. But that's it. The habit of having regular training and regular practice to do, he's got that already. So and also, as you say, it depends very much on the person. So for instance, you have people who are the word doesn't come to me, but basically they're just obedient. You just give them anything to do and they'll just do it because they've been told to do it. And it's not like they're not sheep or anything. It's just the way people function. You've got different personalities. Then you have other personalities where the more you give them things to do, the less they do them. Rebellious. They're just not compliant. It has to come from themselves. So you have to find a kind of, very complex psychological ways of going round it for them to say, I want to do this, as if it came from them. And you're like, oh, really? Great. Okay. Just report back to me in a week's time. Tell me how it went. Because if you went to them every day, they'd be like, oh, I'm being harassed. Want to do it because he's telling me to do it. Deliberately will not do it without even realizing actually what they're doing. And so it's important to know about children actually.
So back to that the Google PubMed that I read out at the beginning of this, right? Okay, if we was to dig into that research, right, okay, we might find that the people that was researched in that research, whatever, the people that was did that research, that took part in it, maybe they weren't the professional athletes who they already got that route in their habits set out. Maybe there's so many things, so many reasons why people do things and don't do things. So for instance, I suspect, because speaking to people around you, right, especially the female community, women, I suspect a lot of them put these sort of resolutions into their mind because that's the kind of thing that people around them do. It's the season. Is it because it's a season, right? Okay, this is
I have to. So beyond the idea, what I was saying, by the automatic metabolism motivation and that you don't have control over. Beyond that, it's more kind of hearing. I'm going to have as much as, but then after Christmas, I'll go on a diet, and they hear this, and it's drummed into I'll start. I'll join. Are you joining? Okay. And I think, okay, I have to because everybody's doing it. Obviously, I must be doing it because the people don't like to be outside of the general habits, general trends or whatever it is. And so it's not coming from them. The motivation is not coming from them. It's coming from an external motivator, which is not going to last.
Okay.
It's a passion.
It's outside. I like that because so what I was getting at then, so we could say maybe the people who train in quite a lot, or the people who have habits, whether they eat the right foods or whatever, for them they don't need to make New Year's resolutions because they do these things, and if nothing pops up,
could be a little one.
It doesn't pop up at Christmas.
Yeah, everybody can improve. There's always, even when you're a top athlete, you can always improve. And it could be your New Year's resolution about something completely unrelated to health, but it will give you benefits in terms of your mood, in terms of how you feel about others, how about others feel about you. It could be how you deal with certain issues or certain people, whatever it is. So we can always improve. So, but because they have the habit of being very, very strict about themselves, very dedicated, driven. They have grit. People who go far in whether they're top athletes and they're in the Olympics, or whether they are unknown athletes, but they or unknown person, but just dedicated to what they do as a sport or as an activity. There's an element of grit. So they are able to forget or put to the side the discomfort. I can't call it pain, seriously, but the discomfort and the restrictions that maybe a diet can bring, or a change of kind of food you eat, or a change of routine in your day. Okay, now at 8 a.m. in the morning, I will do my cars, for instance, my controlled articular rotations, and it takes me 5 minutes. But before that, I was never doing that. For someone who doesn't have the habit of setting up a habit, it will be really hard. So as you say, you're telling them, or just do one bit, or whatever. I think we had a conversation off the record before what you were saying about this. So you want to say more about that, how you would approach this sort of people who just don't have habits? Because the ones who already have habits is very easy. You just tell them, just add this to your routine. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's just give some idea then, or let me give you one example how you should set up a new habit. Okay, you should have an anchor point. So maybe 3 things to set up a habit. Okay, and this is based on a guy called BJ Fogg, and he has a book called Tiny Habits. It's a really nice book, nice easy book to read.
We'll put the details in our description as well.
Yes. So he has a nice way to how to build habits, and there's three points to it. Okay, number 1 is an anchor. So you have to have an anchor. Number 2, you have to have a tiny behavior, so a tiny habit. And number 3, celebration. So to give you an example, if you want to, I'll just give you the one he uses in his book, okay, which is that you want to floss your teeth. Okay, it's very simple, very easy, right? Okay, and maybe you've been to your dentist and the dentist says that you need to floss your teeth, mate. Right? Okay, so the anchor point is that you will brush your teeth every day. So that is your anchor. That's a habit that is already established that you will do. So that would be your anchor. So your anchor, so it would go like this. After I brush my teeth, I will floss. So the anchor is after I brush my teeth, and the behavior will be I will floss 1 tooth. 1. Not the whole of them, just 1. Okay. After I've done that, I will celebrate. I will do cartwheels, I will do whatever, I will yeehaw, whatever. Right, okay?
Or a good pat on the back.
Good pat on the back. Right, okay? Or just a big smile because you'll have shiny teeth, right, okay?
Yeah.
So that is doable, right, okay? The anchor, because you're already doing it, okay? So it will trigger you, so that's your trigger, okay? What you need to do really is make sure that you have some floss next to your toothbrush to make it easy. Okay, so you have to make the habit easy to do. If you say I'm going to do my whole teeth and that's going to take you 5 minutes, and then the ego might start getting involved. But 1 tooth, that's easily done. All right, and then you just celebrate. Really simple to do. Really simple to do. But what you find is you start doing 1 tooth. I'll just do a second one, and then it's quite easy to do more.
Yeah, because you realize you're already doing it, and you might as well do a bit more, because we always say, don't we? The first step is the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
It's the decision making of anything. The decision making is the hardest. Once you've started moving into the into your goal, whatever your activity, then you're in it. That's it, and you realize actually it's not as hard. You might as well do a bit more. Because you're already doing it. All the effort is, or 90% of the effort has already been done. And it would take you more effort to just do that little bit, and then later on rebuild to that little moment. You might as well do a bit more. That's very true. And I've got example in my personal life.
I think that's a good way to end this. Just nice short conversation. But yeah, I think what I would say to people, if you're really looking to make changes in your life, okay, and if you're one of those that sets these New Year's resolutions, but it's hard to keep them, maybe, rewind, go back, set yourself, start small, okay? Because there's plenty of stuff out there. You can get all these books out there. I have books for 15-minute sections. The one thing is we can reel them out. There's loads of books out there, loads of things, but you can't fail by just choosing one little thing to start building into your life.
Yeah.
All right. Forget about whatever else you're doing, because that will change. It takes time to change.
It takes time. And often we mistakenly put the goal far too high. We have to change completely my diet, and therefore I've got to remove every sugar from my diet. And it's difficult, but good on you. First of all, congratulate yourself. Yeah, you've got taken whatever it is. I'm taking that example. It's like, okay, you've taken the decision. Well done. You're aware of it. Well done. You've got the intention. Not, as you said, choose a little thing to do, and just go for it. And congratulate yourself for the effort and for achieving to do at least that. But I would add, just know yourself, know how you function, know whether you are, what sort of person you are, whether you need someone to. I've got a friend, she says when she changes something important in your life, she says, please make sure you ask me regularly if I've done it, where I'm at, and tell me off if I haven't done it, because that's how she functions. Which for me, I'd be like, it's just I just don't. I'll tell you publicly, so I've made a commitment, but leave me to it.
Yeah, and that's another example. There's so many things out there. I think good place to end is on that Chinese proverb. Do you remember it? The one about a journey of 1,000 steps starts with one step.
One. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Cool. All right.
Well,
we'll talk again.
We will talk again. Definitely.
Right. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you for watching. This episode has started to touch on how we can establish meaningful behaviour change in our lives. In future episodes, we hope to bring you gems from lots of inspirational people to help you live a fulfilling life and be the best version of yourself you can be. Please like and subscribe and keep an eye out for our next episode. We really welcome all your feedback, so please leave your thoughts and comments in the section below.